One crisp morning in a quaint little town, a local philosophy professor, renowned for his unconventional teaching methods, made a special visit to a primary school. The moment he stepped into the classroom, there was an air of anticipation. His eyes sparkled with a mischievous glint, and under his arm, he carried a large, empty glass jar. The children, curious and wide eyed, were instantly captivated. This was no ordinary school day. It was clear something extraordinary was about to unfold. With a theatrical flourish, he placed the jar on the table at the front of the room. Then, from beneath the table, he revealed a pile of large stones, each about the size of a fist. The room fell silent as the children leaned forward, eager to see what would happen next. The professor began carefully placing the stones into the jar, one by one, until no more could fit. He turned to the class, his expression thoughtful, and asked, "Is this jar full?" The students, seeing that no more stones could fit, nodded confidently and replied, "Yes." But the professor wasn't done. With a sly smile, he reached under the table again and pulled out a bag of pebbles. He began pouring them into the jar, gently shaking it, so the smaller pebbles rolled into the gaps between the stones. Once again, he turned to the class and asked, "Is the jar full now?" This time, some of the students hesitated, sensing there was more to this demonstration, but many still nodded and said, "Yes, it's full now." The professor's eyes twinkled as he reached for yet another bag, this one filled with fine sand. He poured the sand into the jar, and the tiny grains cascaded into every remaining crevice, filling the spaces between the stones and pebbles. For the third time, he asked, "Is the jar full now?" The students, now fully engaged, began to catch on. Some shook their heads, while others tentatively replied, "Probably not." Finally, the professor produced a jug of water and poured it into the jar, saturating the sand until the jar could hold no more. Only then did he agree that the jar was truly full. The professor leaned forward, his gaze sweeping across the room, and said, "This jar represents your life. The stones are the most important things: your family, your health, your closest friends. These are the things that, even if everything else were lost, would still make your life feel full and meaningful. The pebbles are the other things that matter: your job, your home, your car. They're important, but not as essential as the stones. The sand? That's the small stuff, the trivial things, the daily chores, the minor tasks that fill our days." He paused, letting his words sink in, then continued, "If you put the sand or the pebbles into the jar first, there's no room left for the stones. The same is true in life. If you spend all your time and energy on the small stuff, the to-do lists, the errands, the trivialities, you'll never have room for the things that truly matter most. The stones are the foundation of your happiness, your relationships, your well-being, your dreams, and your passions. If you don't prioritize these, you'll look back one day and realize you've left out the most important parts of your life." His voice grew more impassioned as he concluded, "Make sure you put the stones in first. They are your foundation, your pillars. They are your family, your health, your dreams. Don't let the pebbles or the sand, the secondary tasks, the routine, the trivialities, take precedence over them. At the end of your journey, it's the stones that will weigh the most in your jar of life. They define its value and meaning. Let your life be driven by the things that enrich your spirit, fulfill your soul, and matter the most. The rest, that's just pebbles and sand." As the professor finished his speech, a thoughtful student raised a hand and asked, "But professor, what about the water? Where does that fit into our lives?" The professor's face lit up with a warm smile. "Ah, the water," he said. "The water represents the small moments of joy, connection, and spontaneity. No matter how full your life may seem, there's always room for a cup of coffee with a friend a shared laugh, or a quiet moment of reflection. The water reminds us that even in the busiest of lives, there's always space for the little things that bring us happiness and connection. He continued, in life, we often find ourselves juggling priorities, trying to fit everything into the limited hours of the day. We get so caught up in the hustle and bustle, the small tasks, that we sometimes forget what truly matters. This jar, our life, isn't infinite. It has only so much space. If we fill it first with sand and pebbles, the mundane and the peripheral, we leave no room for the stones, the things of real value and meaning. So I urge you, he said, his voice steady and earnest, focus on your stones first, your family, your health, your passions, and your dreams. These are the aspects of your life that, when everything else is stripped away, will still leave you fulfilled and content. Take care of these precious stones first. Make time for those you love and care for. Nurture your physical and mental well-being. Pursue your passions fearlessly. And while you do that, never forget to make room for learning, growth, and kindness. The water, he added, is the unexpected, the unplanned. It's the coffee with a friend, the spontaneous laughter, the shared moments of joy. Even when life seems so full, there's always room for these. There's always space to connect, to relax, to simply be. The pebbles and the sand, they'll fit in around the important stuff. They're the tasks and responsibilities that are necessary but shouldn't consume all your time or energy. They shouldn't crowd out the space meant for your stones. In the end, the professor concluded, his voice resonating with quiet power, it's not about having a busy life filled to the brim. It's about leading a fulfilling life, rich with experiences that truly matter to you. It's about not just counting the days, but making the days count. It's about balancing the stones, the pebbles, the sand, and the water in a way that enriches your life and brings you true joy. As the students sat in silence, absorbing his words, the professor smiled and said, "This is your life. Make it meaningful. Prioritize your stones and make every moment count." And with that, the classroom erupted into applause, the children's minds buzzing with newfound understanding and inspiration. This is Take the Leap Motivation. Thank you for watching. Until next time, remember, prioritize your stones and make every moment count.